Hello and good evening for all mankind. Season 4, episode 7, Crossing the Line is over, and it has been since 2023. But here in 2025 on Live Long and Podcast, we're just getting started. Whether you're joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, or catching the audio version wherever you get your podcasts, our mission to watch every episode of For All Mankind continues. One strike, one explosion, and one questionable command decision at a time. Now, here's a guy who watched NASA literally blow up their own base, or practically anyway. I'm your host, Dave Mader, and we got a top tier panel once again to break it all down. Coming in first, he's a union man.
He was a union man.
Locked onto the economics of the strike, the concessions, the leverage, and the way Dev split the workers to end the standoff. And when he pitched Ed on stealing the asteroid, Jeff was already running the numbers on the risk-reward ratio. It's Jeff Mader.
Hey, you know what's crazy is this episode could not have been more appropriate timing-wise because we just ratified. Well, I didn't ratify. We just got our tentative agreement with the Canadian Postal Workers Union with the corporation. So this is like ideal episode for me right now.
That's right, for the union man.
He was a union man.
And we're going to be breaking all that down here. Now, coming in next, a member of the bourgeoisie. He watched the 7-day standoff like a political thriller. Unions fracturing, agencies posturing, and Deb playing both sides until the strike collapsed. At the power dynamic shift, he's already charting the fallout. It's Adam Woodward.
Hey, Dave. Did he? I don't think he. I think the strike ended because he settled.
That's like it's basically, yeah. Well, a few holdouts. We'll break all that down.
You'll never get all 100% ever.
Also with us, if there's a moral boundary, he's already measuring who stepped over it. But if there's yet another shitty plate of spaghetti, he's calling it out. It's Kevin Millard.
Yes, there was another shitty. Even on Mars, they can't get away from this fucking spaghetti. Even after Karen is dead, they can't get away from this shitty spaghetti.
It's carried down through the generations into the next. It's a Baldwin tradition.
And yeah, I don't know. I still not really feeling this season at all. Sorry.
I get it. All right. But of course, maybe some festive cheer is in order here. Coming in with the best outfits as always. She clocked the tension the moment Dev, Kelly, and Alex stepped off that shuttle. The side eye, the resentment, the chaos, and when NASA militarized the base, she was watching the human costs behind every order. Stella meets Steel. It's Heather, Mrs. Claus Narduzzi.
That's Ms. Claus if you're nasty.
Okay, of course. Good to have you with us.
I'm excited to get into this episode because I loved the ending. It's brought me back to interest in the show. The path, they're ramping it up. Let's see what happens.
Let's talk.
Our online viewers. Thanks for joining in, everyone.
All the online viewers. We are broadcasting in 16:9 and 9:16 ratios for anybody out there. We love your comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and keep the comment. Well, we don't like all the comments. We like most of the comments, so keep them cool. Tonight we're talking about the 37th episode overall for All Mankind that aired back exactly 2 years ago tonight, December 22nd, 2023. Written by Andrew Black, Mr. Black, and directed by Maya Varillo. And so in this one, there's a strike on Mars that reaches a breaking point. There's sabotage. There's explosions. The NASA's cracking down. What else in this episode? We got Dev pouring a bag of sugar on the ground, breaking the strike with some things, only with a few holdouts at the end, including Ed. I was like, I didn't know Ed was in the union, but I guess he is. We also have Margo returning to Houston just to piss off Aleda and some of the American public.
She confuses me, Aleda.
Yeah, like what her...
I'm happy you're alive. I wish she was dead.
I wish she would go back to being dead. She's like, I don't know. Like, and she's a patriot. She's an American patriot. Is that why Aleda feels this way?
Yeah, again, that also doesn't track for me. Is she,
yeah.
I don't think she.
There's a couple things, but I guess she feels betrayed by Margo's lies.
No. With Aleda, everybody in this show is selfish. Remember, with Aleda, it's that her designs were stolen from her. Right. That's what started. That's what really gets under her skin.
Right.
They were her design.
Her designs, yeah, that's true. That was the original, like how she noticed it, how she noticed that those numbers were so. Yeah. So I know,
relationships are complex. Haven't you ever loved somebody and hated them at the same time?
yes. So, of course. Yeah. Like, well, I think that is true there. We're missing any big beats before we jump into it. I think that's it was like, Leia being interviewed about Margo on like Eagle News or the Fox News equivalent.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was more like OAN.
It's like OAN. Okay. I don't know if that existed in 2003, but maybe. Hello, everyone on the chat. Yeah. So, Kevin, I know you're not feeling this as much. Like maybe is it the economics of it all? Is it all about the money and the business and basically what the speech Dev gives sort of at the end here?
It's. I should love it, honestly. I think it's that the whole premise is it's just all about making profit. Like the thing I do like about this show is you've got like Danielle talking to everybody about like how good it is for mankind and we're going to do this big thing and trying to get everybody rallied by saying that, and it's all on deaf ears. Everybody's just like, where's my money, and right. I kind of find this boring. Like the big thing that's happening is really boring to me.
Well, I think that for me, like there's a bit of a disconnect because when we go back to season 1, like when they went to the moon, it wasn't about making money on the moon. It was going to the moon for other reasons. And then, and then we discovered helium-3. So there's these economic reasons to keep going to space. But now that's become the whole be all and end all, which I think is, for me is, what about the scientific exploration of it all and knowledge? But if I come from a perspective of our own timeline, like obviously that does stuff follows backseat to.
Even Ed says it in this episode. He's like, something could be great here, but it's going to be a few scientists in lab coats. And it's like, yeah, that's the reason. Like that's why you go for science, not
to build a colony.
Like, no, come on.
Dev's never going back to Earth, and so by the end here,
awesome.
Dev and Ed are like, we're never going back to Earth. We're gonna steal an asteroid, and whatever that song was that played at the end, it was really good.
It was DMX.
Yeah.
And that's something I wanted to mention too. It's crazy the whiplash of this episode opening with Modest Mouse and closing with DMX. X gonna give it to you. That got me amped up. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, like they pick good music, like sometimes more than the scenes deserve sometimes. But like I was like we're gonna steal this asteroid. I was like, all right, and I've seen it before, but I was like, yeah, we're okay. Like it was kind of like, and they went just from being like enemies in the previous scene, and now they're gonna team up here. A little bit of almost Survivor-esque, Jeff. Yeah, with the Dev Ed coming together here.
It's Mars Survivor.
Yep, it was a bit of like a mutiny.
A bit of a mutiny, a bit of a rebellion on Mars. They don't want that for Earth.
I'm dying to talk here about this.
Of course.
Like two things that really kind of got me about this episode in a negative way. First of all, what the hell is Ed's job that he can just go from EXO to Union guy? Like, I don't understand his role. Like, is he fired? Then he just stays?
He's the project manager.
So what? But he's, as far as I understand, he's always been management. He's always been a commander or somebody up at the top. He's an admiral, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I don't think the union's kind of not a real organized union yet, but like,
but who's his boss?
Dev,
I
guess.
Does he work for Helios still? Like, I don't understand.
He works for Helios, and Dev's the CEO, but Kelly also is a major partner in Helios.
She's got no. I don't know. I don't understand. I just don't understand his role. It kind of bugs me.
Grifter on the base, he's a pot stirrer. That's his official role.
Well, he does that for sure.
He makes spaghetti.
He forces Parmesan cheese onto his grandson.
Yeah,
that is not Parmesan cheese. That is classic nonsense, and no wonder the child wouldn't eat it.
Right.
So that was my third problem, but that's okay. You now mentioned that. The second one is, and you called me bourgeoisie right off the top here. I like to think of myself as fair, and what I don't understand is the real issues what these guys have the problems with. Is it the pay? Is it the safety? Because they talked about that. It's the pension. It's the job security. What the hell? I'd like to know more. And typical U.S. shows, they just gloss over it and make the union the bad people and make them all go back to work.
Yep.
I would have liked to know more. That's all. I would have liked to know the real issues.
Well, I guess the episode premises here that the Union went too far. They stole all the spacesuits and they left them outside on the surface.
They got the attention. Good for them.
They got the attention, but then those guys crawled through that sewer pipe or whatever, and then they get to the base, and then they because the flow regulator's not there, they try to rig it up, and it ends up blowing them up, killing at least one person, critically injuring others.
These guys are engineers. They should be able to figure this out.
Well, they shouldn't have done that. Like they basically went around the safety protocols. I mean, look, I blame them, but not the union.
Palmer in particular, he was in command.
Yes,
and someone says on the I call it an away team, like the team that went over crawled through that pipe, and they say you can't just pull off a flow regulator.
Yes,
like it doesn't. You can't just and reattach it to this hose and then go whoop. But then
the regulator is gone. The regulation part is gone. You gotta have that. But they also had the first negotiation of the table where Danielle got all mad and they were getting all mad. It was just stupid. Again, they could have done, I thought, more with that scene. I would have liked more there. And Ed is just pissing me off like you wouldn't believe right now. And I'm going to pull a Jody here. The sooner that guy goes, the better for this whole series.
Oh well, what would you say about that, Danielle?
Fuck you! I have been putting up with your shit for the last 30 years, watching you make wrong decision after wrong decision, only thinking about yourself like you're God's gift to the cosmos. Well, I have news for you, Ed Baldwin. You are just a pathetic old man who doesn't know when to call it a day.
Well, I guess you agree with Danielle then.
I mean, that's like exactly what Adam just said. So
yeah. For all those guys that cross the sugar line there.
Yeah.
And sugar line.
It was a sugar line.
That was funny, but I don't know why it's funny. Nobody wrote down what he was offering, and if Ev dies in the next hour, which is possible on this show,
yeah,
all those promises gone.
Right. I was surprised it was as many and that came over, but
that's why he did what he did, where he had them all in a room and he got the collective to basically become self-interested. He knew that it would work, but that's not how union negotiations work.
No, but they're Dave's point, they're not a union yet.
They're not a true union yet. They're a very disorganized union, but
yeah. And he gave them everything they wanted. He said that Danielle had already agreed to all of the safety stuff, and he was giving them a bunch of money. What the fuck else did they want?
They wanted the asteroid to be brought to Mars for long-term job security.
But they're all going to be millionaires if they cross the line. And so he's giving them everything they want.
Yeah.
He didn't do some kind of dirty trick. He just gave them what they wanted.
Where was our main guy though in this episode?
Who's the main guy?
Our main union guy, the main character. That's
Massey.
His name Miles.
Oh, Miles he's barely in this episode, if at all.
I don't think he's in it at all.
I don't think we saw him at all.
I think he's maybe he's there for the meeting, in the beginning, but he doesn't have any lines.
He's got some other stuff to do, Jeff. He's got to,
He's running his criminal empire.
That's right.
And the other part of this too was so after the explosion, there's this whole thing here with the CIA. They're like, we have an asset on Mars, and so do the KGB, and this could be part of our authoritarian crackdown, our union busting. We'll just make our little security force, and then they start raiding the bunks and the rooms of the different Helios workers, but it's what they got to do. They wear a mean looking sweater vest thing, which is
what I find intimidating is sweater vests.
I do too. That's how you pull it together here. And Danielle's a part of that, right? Where she's like, well, I think that they have legitimate grievances, but I think after this guy dies, Danielle's like, no, she pulls kind of a Cisco here and says Commander, fire torpedoes. I don't care. Right. We got to get over the disruption of it all. We got to get this asteroid so we can get this mineral or something for things. And I think that like what the benefit of to humanity is very unclear as an audience member to me personally. Like what the like even like when I was talking last week, they're going to bring this asteroid to Earth, potentially like trying to bring that into the orbit of Earth could end in a disaster if it somehow plummets into the onto Earth. Even if you got all your equations right, even if Margo and Aleda have it pretty down pat, there's still a risk to it. Whereas Mars,
you know why you're confused about the usefulness of this or what it's going to be used for is because all anybody can talk about is what it's worth.
Right. It's just money. It's just money.
It's just money. Yeah.
Whereas like when they were in like season 2, even they're like, well, we got the helium-3 and all this, and we're making, or even season 2 and 3 when they were talking about that, like clean natural energy, a reduction of fossil fuels, and then like a reversal of climate change. Those are tangible things I think people in the audience can understand and grasp, right? Where it's like, okay, well, we'll be able to build more like superconductors, but or whatever, but I don't know. It's not a new element that's not on Earth. It's just a rare. Yeah. It's just a rare element.
Extremely rare. I'm just reading that here. The average concentration of is 0.001 parts per million.
And as we said, but once you add all that new supply, like the price would obviously change.
Unless you can control the supply, and that's what I think Dev's trying to do here.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, it seems to be the case. All right, well, we can jump into the episode if there are no other opening thoughts. I think I have a shot of Miles, but we're gonna hop into it. So we start off here with the empty corridors of the Happy Valley base, empty pump truck, a work site that has been unattended, hallways and corridors not manned, laundry not being done. Everyone, it's chaos here. And we're in day 7 of the Helios worker strike here. And we see the scene here between the Helios Union, led by Massey and Ed against, the management, the astronauts and the cosmonauts, Danielle and Palmer and some and a bunch of others, where they're at a standstill. They can't come to a thing. Palmer's saying they're in breach of their contracts. And they just want what's fair. But really, this scene ultimately comes down to a lot between, for me, Ed and Danielle, where, because Massey, we know she's a true believer. She's actually going for this because, for a bunch of reasons. She saw her friend die. She's, all the things that they've done to the workers. But Ed's here for just to stick it to Danielle, mostly. And just because he's bored, he's got no actual job, it seems. And Danielle calls him out for that in the meeting, saying, weren't you just looking down on all these people for not being qualified to be out here, being out here just chasing the money, etc. And he's like, no, I never would do that.
He was like, don't make this about me.
It's not about me, Danielle. Oh, isn't it? Isn't it always about you, Ed Paul?
Always about him. And exactly. This is what really bothers me about this guy is if he was still had his job as XO, he wouldn't be here. He'd be yelling at the other guy.
No. Yeah, he'd be totally on this side, yelling back at them, right?
But I don't understand how he can do this. Okay.
I think the kind of the point is that none of these people really have any principles. Not even, maybe Danielle, but even then. None of them really stand for anything other than their job and what making money. There's no real mission. I guess is the point.
Jeff, I think the workers have never held any or pretended to be different. They all went there for money.
Right.
For sure. I agree.
Why else would they be there? That's why you go.
But why are the astronauts there?
Well,
they all work for corporations. It's all different. I mean, it's not the same anymore.
Yeah, but that's my whole point. What's the mission? What is the mission?
Don't know.
It seems to be to just have a base on Mars to find things like asteroids to make money, right? That seems to be the whole point.
Well, I think that there's also this debate, do we even want to have a long-term base on Mars? It's expensive. It's difficult. There's not a lot there. But
that's the whole thing with going to the moon. If there's nothing there, if you've already been there, why are you going back?
Right. Well, I think
in the here and now, and never mind the alternate reality, like, why did they stop going to the moon? Because they were there how many times? They did.
And now it's no big deal to go to the moon. Like they have even hotels on the moon now.
But there's no
You're talking
ability to
real life?
refine
No,
or resource, like take any resources. There's nothing there for them, so they stopped going.
Right, but in this timeline, they did find fuel on the moon, so it's much more.
They found a resource, and this is
to me, like I think Mars is more of like a jumping off point to go to like Jupiter and further out into the solar system, and that's why maintaining a base here would make sense. But
I think the thing that like that's a real world like idea that has been talked a lot about, and would have been super interesting for the season, was to find a way to terraform Mars. That would have been a really like interesting plot.
Well, that's like
You
I
know?
think Dev like he even pitched that maybe in some of his earlier concepts before the board shot him down in like last season.
Right, and you have Kelly who's looking for life, and then like that might be a jumping off point, but instead they want to find the big mineral in the sky to
Right.
harness, right? Like that's that's what the whole point is, that corporate greed is controlling the whole thing, like
I think the show is also trying to portray this as a gold rush sort of idea, but I guess the corporations being involved, and like not in the gold rush, like any person could go out there and like try to pan for gold and try to make it. Most of them didn't, but like not anybody can go to Mars. It's kind of like you got to be hired first and like trained and sent out there, and it's kind of a little bit of a different model. So I don't know. I think I would be more into like the scientific discovery. Like, what is Kelly going to find life? Are they going to go to the next planet? Like, none of that's really been talked about, right?
No, but somewhere. I mean, it'd be interesting to go back and dissect it. Like, when did the priority change?
Well, I think for this, like last season, the mission to Mars, right? And that was the whole season, and we all got it, right? But now they're on. It's kind of like, to me, it's very much like season 2, where we got to the moon, and now we're just kind of expanding the base on the moon, but just like how we're expanding the base on Mars. And I think there's a part of the audience going, so what? Like, can't you skip over that or like time lapse that ahead? Because I don't need to see all that detail. But anyway.
Like, I think it was when I remember there was a comment made by Ellen when she was administrator that we're self-sustaining now. We sell everything, to corporations and make it profitable. So you don't have to worry about funding us anymore. It's like somewhere along the way they got away from government funding. NASA did.
Yeah, they got their budget or their padded money gutted, right? That was part of the compromise, I guess, that they made. I don't know. But anyway. After the credits, let's talk about it. We're here at the Molly Cobb Space Center. We got Eli
Ugly
talking.
building, by the way, very ugly building.
I like the old building. I'm just gonna say it, So, but anyway, Eli's talking to Irina, saying we got to deal with this strike. Now, two things popped into my head in this conversation. Al Gore, a member of the Democratic Party, theoretically should be pro-union, pro-worker, pro-labor, and the Soviet Union also being like pro-worker, pro-union, whatever. But they're like, we need to bust this strike up as fast as we can. Is kind of, what we need to do. They're both presidents are putting pressure on them, respectively, to try to resolve it. Which then takes us to the next scene, which is back here on Mars, with Massey dealing with her union, and the workers who aren't getting paid are starting to get a little antsy. They're starting to buckle after 7 days, but this is kind of all strikes. Now we see Ilya is present for this meeting, and he looks across the room at Miles, but Miles is in this. I told you he was in this episode, but he has no lines. So and we don't see him in that scene with the sugar later on. Like, I don't know if he was just busy.
He would have been the first across that line.
He would probably be the first to cross that line. So I feel like Toby Kebbell, I feel like he just wasn't available for this episode, and so they kind of just didn't write anything for him here.
Well, they made the other guy. There's like another guy that he crosses the line first, and I feel like that was supposed to be him, and they just wrote a new character.
He was busy doing reshoots of Fantastic Four or Fanforstic 4 as Dr. Doom, perhaps. Anyway, Ed's present, but they're like, we need to do something. Like they're gonna come after us. So we see the scene where Palmer was gonna go out to the fuel pumps, and they try to go to the room what's got all the spacesuits, and there are no spacesuits. What happened to all the spacesuits, everyone? Those union people, the union men and women, they've put all the suits outside here to prevent them from being used. I guess it's a tactic.
It's a pretty funny one.
It's a pretty funny one. All the spacesuits. So they can't get at them. So they're like, well, how are we going to get over to the fuel pump station, which is like not quite a kilometer away, but it's far enough, like without any kind of suit that he does will be super far away. And so, but this is where Palmer has this idea, like there's some kind of a drainage pipe that is underground that could be used. So they try that out. It's not a sewer pipe. It's like a drainage pipe. Like they talk about the gray water from the Arboretum or something kind of flows into this pipe. But once it drains, they will be able to use it to get over there. So desperate times call for desperate measures, I suppose. I don't even know why Helios was arguing with NASA, and Danielle at the front.
Yeah.
If this whole fight is with Helios management, I don't understand why NASA, Arena, any of them are involved. Like it's kind
At
of
all. Yeah.
If they should only be putting pressure on Dev and Leda and them, theoretically,
because they all want the asteroid, and that's
right.
The whole issue.
And like Helios, their client is NASA and Roscosmos, but like that doesn't make that Helios or NASA and Roscosmos like in charge of like what the workers get paid.
No, but it does make them in charge of the operation of getting that asteroid.
Yes,
and they need those people to get that. That's kind
right,
of
right. So it's
right, but I don't know why the union is yelling at Danielle. Like I don't understand that.
Yeah, you're right. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, at
Because they're the
Roscosmos,
administrators, they have the administration responsibilities of the place. They're running.
Sure, but shouldn't their first call be to Dev and go solve this strike?
Because Dev is basically farmed out NASA to be the administrators, management of the place.
But they don't control how much people get paid. Like NASA doesn't control that.
No, but she does safety, clearly.
Safety, yes, that aspect of it for sure. But and I guess where the asteroid goes, whether it goes to Mars or to Earth, I guess that's up to the agencies, not up to Helios per se. Anyway, Margo, she's arrived at her new job here at Roscosmos as the head of the asteroid program or whatever, the asteroid retrieval. She's getting thanked by people in the morning here. Pasha saying hello. And we transition into the meeting here. It's like the big meeting room at Roscosmos. They're trying to figure out the strike issue, saying they don't trust the Americans. Helios pretends to be an international company, this one guy says, but they're based in Houston. They're right next to NASA. They serve the interests of Al Gore and his lackeys. But Margo laughs at this. She scoffs at this and says, no, I know Dev, and he doesn't give a damn about the United States. He only cares about his own interests. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Our intelligence conveys the same. Yes.
Yeah, I love that line.
KGB agrees. Dev is not Mr. Patriotism. Now, while the strike is brought to a close, all efforts must be continued to ensure the safe capture of this asteroid and return it to Earth's orbit under Margo's direction. Which she gives a little update here. Remember her friend Tatiana, who was so upset about her mentor being dragged off?
Yeah, her friend Tatiana.
Her friend, yes. She was present, and Margo tries to throw her a bone, saying, "Oh, she's done some brilliant work. Very good." So I don't know. If
lasers.
I thought this scene was funny because it reminded me of a boss I had one time where he told me I was being too generous in my compliments to my team.
Yeah, don't pump them up too much there, Adam. Make sure you
be more disingenuous, Adam.
Always leave them wanting more, So anyway, so after the meeting's over, Margo is asked to stay behind by Arena, which always is scary. with anytime Irina wants to talk.
Well, this is where I thought she was going to get in trouble for being too nice.
Yeah. She was like, no niceness, no, don't
Yeah,
give
we don't give compliments in the Soviet Union.
yeah, not very reluctantly. But it's that someone has to go to Houston to work on this asteroid program, and they're going to send Margo. And Margo is not too keen on going. She's she's a defector. She's going to get traded, but that she's like, this is being done just to probably thumb in the eye of Al Gore and all that. And she goes, yeah, probably, but you're going. And she's like, oh. And then the other thing was she's like, this wasn't part of our agreement. And she goes, the agreement is changing. The agreement is always changing with the Russians, So Margot's like, she better get on board. She was like, you'd be wise to accept
secrets to them, it's always one more secret. We need one more piece of information.
We need one more thing. You thought you were out, but you're not. So Margot's going to Houston. On Eagle News, where was the one that Jeff compared to? But Aleda thinks she's here for an interview to talk about the asteroid retrieval program. But then whoever this news anchor is, she says, Zoe Chase. She says, oh, well, I'm going to ask you about Margo. And she's like, I'm not here to talk about Margo. And they're like, in 5, 4, 3, 2, and live. We're back here with Aleda, and we're here to talk about Margo Madison. They call her Moscow Margo now.
Yeah.
And
better than defector dog.
Defector dog. It's always alliterative. And I don't know, like Aleda's just stunned and shocked. She's like, well, I'm here to talk about the asteroid. She's like, yeah, we'll get to that later. And then we see it's Aleda and her kids and family or husband, like all eating pizza and watching this at home later on. And we see that Aleda completely chews out the Zoe Chase for being a hack reporter. And she tells her to F off and maybe gives her.
You have another shot of Zoe Chase.
Yeah, well, that's not the best photo
with her Mar-a-Lago face.
Yeah,
that's a Mar-a-Lago face.
Yeah,
they cast her really well.
Yes, they did.
Well done. Yeah. So Margo, but then they have to turn it off because I think too much foul language, which apparently Aleda does not want to hear her daughter to hear. So this has to be turned off.
She does look good up there, though.
Her daughter has the same look as her. Like she was cast well too.
Yeah. Especially kid Leda from season 1. Yeah. Anyway, that gets turned off just when it was getting good according to her son. And then there's a scene a little later on with her husband in the kitchen, where that she's a little stressed out about this whole Margo thing, and her husband says, well, he kind of encourages her to do something about it, which will involve her storming into Eli's office later on to demand that Margo not be allowed to come back to the United States.
He also says that his favorite part, or someone's favorite part, was when she flipped her off on TV. Yes, on her way out,
which she doesn't remember doing apparently, which was also interesting. But this whole thing, like I was so happy when I found out Margo was alive, and now I wish she was dead again. And like I'm so angry again, and this whole kind of flip around that's come about. I guess she's kind of consistent. Anyway, but this is what her husband encourages her to try to take matters into your own hands if possible. After that, we get this scene here coming from space. We have a shuttle arriving from a spacecraft down to Mars. It turns out to be the shuttle that's bringing Dev and Kelly and her son all to Mars. We see Kelly's son is, he's a little scared by the turbulence, but Dev reassures him. Oh man, it's all nothing to be worried about. Just, he's holding his mom's hand.
I like the shuttle.
Yeah, seemed all right. This is the first time Dev's ever been out in space, but he's pretty cool about it. That I know of it. Anyway, so he says, hey, look over there. That's like the big canyon where Happy Valley is. He says it's like 3 times the size of the Grand Canyon, I think, which I didn't know. And we see them landing. And then we get the, first Danielle greets Kelly and her son. Ed's not here right away.
Why would he be there when his daughter and grandson he's never met arrive?
You think, like, when he has nothing to do, as we've established. If anything, he's like a consultant for the union at best. Like I think that's
More interesting to him.
right.
He's smoking weed, guys.
He's the pot dealer on the base. And
He's not even a consultant. He's just a hype man.
He's
just getting them riled up. He's not consulting about anything.
Yeah.
That's his new title, Union Hype Man.
Union hype man.
He was a union man.
Ed's whatever suits Ed.
Whatever is his suits. Anyway, Palmer meets Dev here. Palmer's all kissing Dev's butt. Whatever. He's like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Help us deal with the strike, etc., etc. We see Danielle clocking Dev a bit. A little. I don't know if they ever had a scene together before this, but anyway, they're looking for it here. They get Palmer helping to carry the bags here for Kelly and the son, and they're like, oh, I guess Poppy's not here, meaning Ed. But just then Ed does show up. He was busy growing weed, smoking weed, perhaps. Who knows? And anyway, he gives him and Kelly have a thing, and then he says hi to her son. What's her son's name? Alex, right? And he very not happy to see his grandfather. Now, this is the part I don't get, because I get like you could be a little shy, but like we didn't see that he's naturally shy. He was always sending these videos along with Kelly, like, "Hey, Poppy," and like I know he's never met his grandfather, but I just was a little surprised by this, considering
Kids are weird.
What we had seen so far. Anyway,
Well, I think that's a totally normal reaction. It's one thing to send a video to him, but they don't have two-way comms, right? So he's just sending a video and receiving a video, and also how tall Ed is, even.
True,
And loud.
And I don't know.
He's also on a space station.
Yeah,
He's also
it's been a big day for little Alex.
Yeah.
he's also
It's his homecoming.
Oh,
Yeah. My favorite line though was when like Palmer, after this, like Palmer is carrying the bags, and he goes, "Hey, Palmer, finally make yourself useful, eh?" That was my favorite part. We got this scene here with Dev and Danielle in Dev's new quarters, where Dev's like, he's looking at it in his new view, I guess, taking it all in.
I think he's just thinking, I wonder what the view is from Danielle's office. Because I think that's what he's thinking. I think he's like, I need a better view.
Is this really the best digs I could have got?
Yeah.
Anyway, Danielle's saying, I need your help with this strike. These workers have legitimate grievances with you and what you're paying them, and etc. He's like, yeah. Oh, good. Like he's overly chill here in this scene. And Danielle's about to leave, and then she goes, like, what's up with you? Like, I'm the boss here, not you. You Mr. Rich Guy. Like, you better understand my authority here on this base. And he's like, oh yeah, totally. I totally accept your authority. But like, it's very clear.
So believable.
So believable. What a performance he gives towards Danielle here. And like, she walks out of that meeting, like, you could just tell she does not have much love for Dev or his type of antics. So
have they ever met?
I don't think so. I don't think they ever had a scene in season 3.
But she knows.
She knows who he is.
Obviously,
but yeah. So, but I think that's the first time they've ever had a scene. Then we have Alex being checked up by Dr. Russian Man. I forget his name, and along with Kelly here, because
the guy that delivered him.
Yeah.
Well, technically, he was born on the spaceship. He wasn't born. The doctor didn't deliver him. He was like his prenatal doctor,
Sure.
perhaps.
Yeah, the entire pregnancy was on Mars,
but not the birth.
Right. But what is that? Does that change things?
Well, I guess I don't know. But it's also because the doctor has had this relationship with his father. He's the only surviving cosmonaut. Like now with Kuzi gone. Yeah. Like he's the only one from that crew, and he worked with him for years. And they talked to me how much he liked his dad and how they used to play chess and whatever. And so
this was a really touching scene. This was
exactly what Ed didn't do. Connect with his grandson.
Yeah. He tries to do the Shane approach, which does not work with him. And so Yeah, so nice little scene here with the doctor and Kelly in there, and they're also saying that Alex's heart is better suited for Mars gravity because he was born in space, so he's actually a little bit of a fish in water situation, if you will. Anyway, we got Palmer and his guys crawling through the drainage pipe, trying to make their thing. They got their little masks on and making their way out. As we see, it's 800 meters, not quite a kilometer, that they have to get over from the main compound to where this is. And they eventually get in there. Palmer, he's trying to bring the system back online. Danielle saying, "Good job, everyone. Keep it up over there, and let's get this thing rolling." This is where we mentioned that they find that the system's not working, and we'll come back to that. Then the greatest plate of spaghetti ever served here on Mars is dished up. The look on Kevin's face in particular is like, I'm offended by this spaghetti.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, there's more sauce on it than there was. Like, they've improved it since Karen, but it's still bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Anyway,
they put that Kraft shit on it. No thanks. No wonder that kid walked away.
Absolutely not.
Yes, but Kelly's brought it here as a gift for her father, smuggled in perhaps, not off the black market, but next best thing. And Ed is so happy for his.
He just
plastic.
looks like an old guy at that pitch right there.
Well, he is an old guy.
Yes,
he plays it well. You got to give him credit.
Yeah, Kinnaman does it well. Like, he's basically my age, but he's playing much older. And he's happy to get his Parmesan, or whatever you want to call it.
Hey, look how much he put on. He put half the jar on.
He did. For something like you think you might want to save, because you can't just go to a store here on Mars. Well, maybe you can. He offers it to his grandson, and his grandson says no, and he's like, "Yeah, you do," and he just pours the whole thing of cheese onto his plate.
This is a great screenshot. The kid's like, seriously. Yeah. Mom, are you watching this?
Yeah. Can you believe this guy? Yeah. Yeah. Kelly's reaction. Well, he's old. What are you gonna do? Anyway, Alex walks away, and then she's all giving her dad like, "Why'd you do that? Like, and you need to get to know your grandson and actually be."
I'm trying
here. I'm pouring Parmesan. What do you want from me? And,
do you know what kind of bad dad I am? Like,
yeah. Like, you heard about
Leave me alone. He's still alive.
Yeah. Anyway, just then the dinner gets interrupted by this guy from Helios. Ed's being summoned for it to be. We need our union hype man right now, stat. Yeah. He's like, okay, I'm on my way. I know how to hype.
What's management trying to do now?
Yeah, all the workers, the union, they're all freaking out because they're realizing that they're getting the fuel station back online. They don't know how they're doing it. This guy's like, I've given up a week's pay for nothing. How could this be? This woman then says, but don't worry. I took out an insurance policy. I stole the flow regulator. And Ed goes, oh, yeah, the flow regulator. That's a good one. I like it, So, again, like maybe saying like, well, actually, if they try to start up that equipment without this, they could blow themselves up. Now, does Ed know that? Maybe. I don't know. Or could he theorize that? But just then, Palmer and his team working at the station, trying to get it working again, get a little freaked out. They figure this is the guy who dies. I couldn't quite place his accent. But he's like, oh yeah, we've been doing this since I was a kid. Like, we can just, like MacGyver this and try to, bypass the flow regulator and get the system back online. So, he basically takes it out here and he connects it to another tube. One of the other guys.
So, like, did everybody know something was going to blow up as soon as she came out with the flow regulator? Like,
once this guy did this, I was like, yes. Once he started like trying to use something without, and especially after the other member of the away team basically says, you can't just remove a flow regulator. Like, it just doesn't work. Right. But temporarily it seems to be successful. It seems like the system's coming back online.
Until the flow gets out of control because there's nothing there regulating it.
Exactly.
The flow won't regulate itself.
The flow
These
won't
peop-
regulate itself.
These guys are supposed to be engineers. That you know,
Yeah.
I don't
Like-
think any of these people are engineers. I think
Yeah.
I don't think Palmer is either. Like
We'll just bypass it. Everything can be
just
bypassed.
bypass. Everything's a bypass. Then
You know what
back
they
in,
need is a flow regulator compensator.
you do
Ah.
self-sealing stem bolt, perhaps.
Probably.
But all the pipes here in the flow station are going off and whatever else. They're getting the red here on the thing, and so this is where Danielle realizes she needs to shut it down. But
This is shades
but-
of Danny again.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
She says shut it down. But before they can do
He
anything,
yells, "Shut down the emergency switch!" Right?
Mhm.
Why is there nobody standing next to it? The guy has to run so far away to hit the emergency shut-off switch. It's effectively useless if it's far away.
Yeah, we see that it's this particular pipe, the liquid methane, that's going to explode. I don't understand how any of them lived. They should have all died,
Yeah.
not just one.
Yeah.
Like we see there's this boom. Like first of all, it would be decompressed. So even if you did survive the explosion, then all the spacesuits are not in the thing. So how could anyone like emergency run over there and help them?
They had to
There's
drag
all
it back to the tube.
They would have to come back through the tube, but like, geez, like think like what does that entail? Before we can get to all that, we go back to the ugly building, and this is where Leda is coming through. She doesn't need an appointment. She's coming to see Eli, and she doesn't want Margo to come to the U.S. You know, like she's like, you can't let them, and he's like, what do you want me to do? I can't stop them from sending her. She should be arrested, but Leda doesn't want her to come back to this building. She doesn't deserve to come to this building and everything else, but the argument's not really working. Just then Eli's like assistant comes in and he's like, there's been an accident on Mars, which brings us back to Happy Valley, and we're going to see the aftermath of the explosion. And what I guess they had to bring them through that pipe very slowly. Like, I don't know how you could do it. How could you do that with somebody unconscious? Like, I don't even think it would be practical.
Can we get off the screenshot now?
Yo, is this too much?
Oh God.
Third degree burns. I watch a lot of medical shows, I guess. Anyway.
Listen, Dave, I know you're like a TV doctor, but I don't need to see the burn victim up close. Okay.
All right. So they're trying to save the doctor, trying to save them. There's this other guy. I think he was on the away team. He's all shaken up by the whole thing, you know. And they're trying to save this other guy. He's freaking out. It's sad. They flatline. They die. This one person dies, and there's other people critical. So this is where I think everyone goes, this strike has gone too far. You know, this can't go on. It's gotten too traumatic. What are we sacrificing here? People are dying. So this is the scene with Mr. CIA. You know, he calls them terrorists for how this has gone. You know, explain that the KGB have an asset on Mars, and
so did anybody else recognize this CIA guy?
No,
I didn't go and look up the actor's name, but maybe Adam will for sexy fun facts. I'm very, very, very sure he played Weird Al's best friend in UHF.
Okay, we'll have to find out.
Remember that?
But the other thing he justifies, of course, we have a CIA guy up there because we got like 7 North Koreans, like a few 100 meters from Mission Control. We can't have that.
Just North Korea? There's Russians, there's Japanese,
But nothing's as bad as North Koreans, Jeff.
right. That's all. That's the only place CIA cares about.
I guess any hostile countries towards the U.S.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, well, why don't we send up some Marines? You know, instead of like whatever, you know, like back in '83. And Eli does point out that nearly created World War III, but they also stopped it. You know, it's like, well, I think we're semantics, but he doesn't want to be the guy to do all that again. He doesn't want to go through those motions. This is where Tyler he proposes like, why don't we, you know, use the military trained people basically as a security force, you know, up there instead. Which Eli is, well, that could be a compromise, right? Let's send our. What could go wrong? Let's try it. So we got Danielle giving her speech to the troops, who are made up of different countries, like Soviets, Japanese, and whatnot. Here are present in this new, crack force of sweater vest wearing security officers, and they're sent out. They're sent out with no real I guess they have authority, but they're only like 8 people. I don't know. So it's a little strange to me, but they're searching. They're searching bunks. They're going through stuff. They're touching people's personal effects. Very invasive. I'm surprised I thought they would start finding contraband, things that have been sold in the black market, but none of that happens. But we see people trying to stand up for their friends, and that's not going so well.
I was really hoping there'd be a poster of Raquel Welch and What Say You, Fuzzy Britches.
That would be good. That would have been a good one.
No, I guess Shawshank didn't happen in this reality.
Yeah. Maybe not. Anyway, so this is where they're having another meet in the union after this, talking about do they need to stay strong, stay together, whatever. And this is where Dev shows up with his bag of sugar. Things. He's like,
the ants are gonna have a field day.
Yeah, remember what happened with the ants? Made Gordo
That
go
was
crazy.
on the moon, though. Maybe there's no ants on Mars.
Good thing we don't have another Stevens presence, because they would definitely lose it. So Dev pours this line of sugar on the ground and basically says this union, this whole strike is pointless and it's going to be forced down. And he offers them money and stock options and more safety regulations. So basically, to your point, everything they're asking for, or largely what they're asking for.
But he also gives the whole thing because they go, it's all about the money. And he goes, it's all about the money for you guys too.
Yeah. You're telling me it's not about money for you? But Ed doesn't want to go along with it. Neither does Massey and a couple of the others. Basically 5 of the other people are not willing to go along with this. But they listen to Dev's little pitch here. And he's like, the first 100 people to cross will get this thing. I don't know. But the true believers here. But we'll find out from Dev that this is kind of a test in some ways too. That he's testing which people won't take this offer. Those are going to be the people he trusts, I guess. But he also offers amnesty because I think this woman who stole the flow regulator is worried about criminal charges being put on her for what happened and that guy being killed. So, anybody of you who stole spacesuits or flow regulators or whatever will be given amnesty. You'll be, absolved. And
of which he has no authority to grant.
I don't think he would. Yeah.
I think he does, though. There's really no laws.
Well, then you can't prosecute anybody. What if somebody punch somebody out, or
you just throw them outside in the airlock like they do?
I guess, yeah. You send them to the North Korean module to lose their marbles.
Oh my God, it's the box in Deep Space Nine.
In that Deep Space Nine episode, Paradise Lost. Blow it out the airlock.
I just have that ready at all times.
There's this ginger guy. He's the first to cross the line. He crossed the sugar line, if you will. And he's like, "Hello, Dev. I'm whatever he does, like a regulator guy." And then slowly but surely, they all start crossing the line. Hence the name of the episode. Even her boyfriend, Massey's boyfriend here, love interest, if you will. What's his name? Luca, the Italian guy. But we see Ilya. Ilya's like, "I can't. I'm going to." He's
losing his long term.
I've lost my bar. What do you want? Yeah. I'm going to take that $1 million. And it's so strange to me that Miles is not present for this meeting, because he'd be like $1 million. He would have been across there so fast. It would have been nothing here. But he's not. I don't know. But he does have this thing with Massey, so maybe he would have been more loyal to Massey. I don't know. He's not present for whatever reason in this meeting. Anyway, so only this guy, he's one of the people that stays behind. I forget his name, but he was one of the people very reluctant to go into the strike in the first place. That he had to really. So I was a little surprised he was the one of the final holdouts.
I talked him into it.
I talked him in, and he was committed. And this woman she also stays. This woman, and Ed's like, they got us, they beat us. Dev, with all his money and his sweet talking ways, has turned the Union against them. That's probably like the most iconic shot from the episode in that sense.
So who's cleaning up the sugar?
He probably those people behind him. And the final scene. And can somebody clean this up for me? Okay, great. And then Ilya's like, "Oh yes, sir, of course." Then Margo arrives in Houston. We see that Aleda's watching that on her monitor back on Earth on Helios. There's protests from some people as well, which takes us right to that scene where Margo's diplomatic envoy arrives. Diplomatic immunity has been granted here from Margo, and she's back in Houston after all these years. Has to have a breath here before she comes out to meet her, the person who replaced her, effectively, Eli. So they're getting their first scene together.
I actually thought this was the first scene I noticed where Margo really played old well. Like you could tell by the way she walked. Like she was
earlier in the episode when she was first walking into Roscosmos, I was like, oh, she's really playing old now. Like she's selling it here. And then they have to like walk over to the entrance together here at the Molly Cobb Space Center. A walk together, heading in. It's a big moment here. Like a lot emoted here by Ren Schmidt, who plays Margo, as they head into her old stomping grounds, sort of. The new building, though.
She looked up to where her office would be. Yeah,
looking up to where her old office would be. Oh, look, sorry. Burn victims. And I don't know how that got in there. Anyway, so the final scene of the episode is then Ed on his exercise bike, trying to lick his wounds, sort of after the Dev, busted up the Union, ended the strike. And then Dev just walks into Ed's room, doesn't even knock. Doesn't even say kind of come in. He just walks in, and Ed's like, "What the hell? I hate you. Remember? What are you doing here?" And he was like, I had to bust up that strike. It was so easy.
It's my building, buddy.
It's my building. Yeah. Like I own this stuff. But that it was so predictable, just to $1 million is $1 million. All right. But Ed or Dev reveals to Ed here that he never plans to go back to Earth, and neither does Ed. He's like, you would have went back by now, but you didn't. And it's all about that. And he points at the asteroid, and he's like, this is where he's like, you want to help me steal an asteroid? Which initially Ed thinks is crazy. But then there's like this kind of this smile here between them. And like it's a heist. There's going to be a heist.
So Ed's going to steal a ship now and go and try to wrangle an astronaut. This is going to be great.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess if anything was going to cite you, maybe it would be that.
47 minutes. Wasn't this episode? It was great.
Yeah. 47 minutes. It was good length. I like the ending. I think the DMX song at the end, actually got me kind of going. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Even though I know. But it's been 2 years. But with that said, I could use some sexy fun facts.
Sexy fun facts with Adam.
Ooh.
All right, let's go. So, Heather, to answer your question, the guy's name is David Bowe. He was in whatever that movie, UHF. Never saw it. He's
Mr. CIA guy.
The CIA guy. He was in The Cable Guy, Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, and The Rock.
Who was he in The Rock?
In The Rock, yeah.
Dr. Ling.
Dr. Ling. I don't even remember a doctor in that movie.
I think he was in the lab with Nicolas Cage.
Is The Rock the one where Nicolas Cage escapes from Alcatraz?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
No, breaks into
with Sean Connery. He breaks into with Sean.
Oh yes, that's more plausible. Sure.
It's a fun movie. It's a
good movie, actually.
I don't listen to soft shit.
I don't listen to that stuff. Where's my? Oh, don't be. I have clips on there from Tony Todd, but I won't digress there.
Okay, so we started this episode talking about why. Well, I'm curious. Why did NASA stop going to the moon? Right. So there was the original landing in 1969, which we all know about, and there was 6 more trips to the moon, but only 5 made it because of Apollo 13, where they had to back off. Mm-hmm. Well, they had to back off. They couldn't make it. But there was a big pause for the past 52 years, I guess now. And so they were talking to an astronaut. His name is what is his name? Doesn't matter. Anyway, long and short, it's for political risk right now. So guess what the NASA budget is from what they get from the government every year? You'll be
billions, I would imagine.
$25 billion.
25
Okay.
billion. Yeah.
Billion. Just to give you context, the military budget is 1 trillion, which
That's
is
more.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, what else? Like I know that the U.S. has a crazy Pentagon budget and defense, but what would be like the second highest thing after that? Like Social Security or something? Entitlements?
That's a good question. I can look that up. But so long and so to put a mission to the moon is a lot of money to get there. Not only that, you might have noticed they don't really approve their budgets, and they take a long time to do that. They don't even have one right now, I don't think. They just operate. So Congress has to basically approve the budget. So before things ever get spent. So there's a lot of times where they just didn't have a budget, and they would just basically.
But they keep spending anyway.
Yeah, they do, but they could basically shut it down at that point. So they've talked about this as like being basically there's no. The NASA, the way it is today structured, there's no way to generate funds. So it's all waiting for government handouts. And if you don't have an administration that believes in this, they don't support it. So there is money coming, of course, because of Artemis mission, but that is privately funded, partially privately funded. So what Musk is doing right now, Elon Musk with this company called SpaceX. I mean, he ain't doing it for cheap or for free. He's being paid.
Oh yeah. He's making a
we
ton.
could be on the cusp of this whole, flip over to profit space travel for profit.
I'm starting to think I don't want that.
Well, look,
the show is.
What do you mean? Without for-profit space travel, we would never have the footage of Katy Perry unveiling her set list and smiling at a daisy in space.
You mean Justin Trudeau's new beau, or is that who you mean?
Yes, Katy Perry married to Justin Trudeau now, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Katy Perry, former astronaut.
former astronaut Katy Perry.
well, that's like Justin Timberlake. Didn't he go up too? Like, I mean, for millions of dollars, like.
Timberlake?
Did Timberlake go up? Maybe. I don't know.
We can send him up though. See ya.
Well,
Send him and leave him there.
He did the training.
that's right. He did the training. So
He did the training.
remember what I told you a couple weeks ago? Like during the fall of the Soviet Union, they had to keep their program alive, and how they did it, they basically took money in to send satellites up for countries. So
Okay.
we already had this going on, right? For years. So I don't know. A company wants Bell Telephone wants to put up a satellite. They got to pay somebody.
Well, so I get like if a company's gonna do it, but then I go like the government doesn't need to make money when they go. Like that's kind of like that makes less sense to me, I guess, because I guess if you can cover your costs, great, but like if you can't, then it is what it is.
Well, I
Just
think
a correction. It was not Justin Timberlake. It was Lance Bass that did the training.
Correct.
astronaut
A
training.
different member of NSYNC.
Yeah.
sorry.
Wait, that's not.
No,
Oh,
I'm
Lance
trying
Bass,
to-
not Lance Armstrong.
No, not Lance Armstrong. No.
Got it.
But I think what we're talking about here is a theme that is heavily shown in this show, which is ideally we would do this for all mankind, but in the end, it's profit. That's
Well-
why people are doing this, is for profit, and that's what it's like in the real world as well.
But you remember, like, even when you go back to like as much as we all talk about the movies here, but Apollo 13, when they were getting ready to go, and they had a bunch of Congress people coming through the hangar out there, and why to obtain funding, because people, if you're gonna spend billions and billions of dollars with, like, why what are we getting out of it? What's the long term we got all these
What's
problems.
the ROI?
Well, even from the government, when they allocate money out, like, should we allocate money to schools, or we should allocate money to, well, they don't to schools anymore, but assuming they used to, there's only so much money. Where does it go?
Well, I get that, but then I'm like, well, some not. You allocate money to scientific research, and
Yes, you
even
do.
right, but I guess, but does it always have to have like a practical economic benefit for it to be worthwhile?
Well, it depends on the administration, right?
Right.
Terry O'Reilly did a great 2-part episode on Under the Influence called Selling the Moon. And it's about how the American government marketed the moonshot to the American public in order to secure the funding. Like you were just saying a minute ago, what do we get out of this? Yeah, we're going to space. What do we get out of it? Why should we fund that?
Yeah, and they were
have a whole
marketing, we got to
campaign.
beat the Soviets there. It's pride.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Not because it's easy.
Because it's hard. But that wasn't in JFK's speech. We do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. But should he have said, and to make money?
No, but he didn't have to back then. I don't know. The astronaut, he goes on to say, man exploration is the most expensive space venture, and consequently the most difficult to obtain political support for.
Because it seems like it's just got more expensive as time's gone on, right?
Yeah, I mean, and it comes back to that last episode or 2 episodes ago where they were talking about how many trillions of dollars it was going to cost to get that iridium from
2
Mars.
trillion to one day make 22 trillion, maybe
for a venture that's going to pay off in 40 years when most of them are going to be dead.
Right. Yeah. And a political thing doesn't work.
So, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, like, I mean, Americans don't know how much they spend in the military, and it's $1 trillion a year. Oh my God.
Which is
That's
1,000.
That's just what they tell you.
That's what they just tell you.
And they can't even pass an audit, right? So,
Yeah.
it's a trillion is 1,000 billions. Is that right?
1,000 billion.
All right. That's a lot. And only 25 billion goes to NASA?
Only 25 billion. I think the police budget in Toronto is like 2 billion or $1 billion or something like that, or 200 million. It's a ridiculous amount of money.
Wow. Well,
yeah. And that about wraps up the fun facts of this week, Dave.
thank you, Adam. That was sexy and fun and festive, I will add as well. And with that,
we just keep going. I'll find a festive.
all right, I will. And let's get into our ratings as we put down a score for this episode. Bringing it in here. Jody not with us tonight. We'll have to catch up with him next time.
You know he didn't like it.
How do you know he didn't like it? Because he's not here?
Because I know Jody.
Yeah, he likes not this. So
No. This would not have been his episode tonight.
No, not perhaps economics and labor disputes and family drama.
Bad
Okay,
spaghetti.
before we move on here, I've got a Christmas fun fact from the moon.
Well, go.
On December 25th, 1968, astronauts aboard Apollo 8 sent a Christmas Eve broadcast. They were then orbiting the moon and seeing the first Earthrise as they came out from behind the surface, the lunar surface that day. So that was the first time they actually took a picture of the Earth rising behind the moon on Christmas Day, 1968.
Ah, fun and festive facts.
It was very fun and festive. All right. Well, Adam, what would your rating be for this episode?
6.
6 from Adam. All right. I think it's about a 7-ish for me, maybe. Like, it's okay, but like not. It's kind of a connector episode in a lot of ways. So like you're kind of waiting for things to happen.
It was a perfect length for me at this. I can.
I'm deducting points for that Parmesan. So 6.8. Kevin.
Well, last week, I think I liked last week's a little better.
Yeah, we didn't get your last week. Yeah, you were here.
So I think I'm pretty close to you guys. I'd say 7.5 for last
for this week. For last week. Yeah.
And I gave me maybe a 6.5 for this week.
Okay. Heather?
This week, is a 6.5 for me, but I'm going to give it an extra half point for the Modest Mouse song at the start. They're one of my favorite bands. I was really happy to hear that. And another half point for the reveal and the DMX song at the end. So 7.5.
All right.
What was the reveal?
That they're going to steal the asteroid. Heist.
Yeah. Heist. Yeah, I got
It's
excited.
Ed and Dev. It's not going to work.
It's going to be amazing.
I know it's not going to work, but I'm excited. Something's
Somebody's going to die,
happen.
and Ed will just shrug it off. Whoops.
You will. Be a man, he'll say. And Jeff, your score, please.
I'm like a 5. It's not a good episode. Nothing really happened that was of consequence.
Mhm.
You know, like it's kind of a boring episode. It just doesn't really do much for me. But like, you know, it wasn't awful. It wasn't a 2, you know,
Wasn't a 2.
Yeah.
That's good. That's going on the DVD cover if they still make DVDs. It wasn't a 2. So
the bear hug, I don't remember that. I gave it a 5 too. It's probably the same. Yeah.
Right. This has on IMDb, it has a 7.9. It's actually got the same rating as last week. I don't know how. With 1,200 votes. So it's seems like people liked it more than we did. That's how it goes sometimes. Anyway, so that's our rating for Crossing the Line. As we look ahead to episode 8, are we gonna be on next Monday? I guess so, right? We're not, you know, why not, right?
Sure.
We're talking season 4, episode 8, Legacy. Here we see Ed Baldwin and his grandson.
Listen here, son. I like that Parmesan. You got to eat it next time. Okay?
That's a Baldwin family tradition. Just so you know.
Oh God, I just had this thing. He's talking to him about I've got to steal an asteroid and I need some help.
Do you want to be in our heist? Do you want to be in our heist?
I can't ask your mom. She's such a square.
Your mom thinks there's life on this planet. There's not.
Can you work the straps? I need you to go outside and hold the straps down for me.
Want to learn how to ride a bike? So, I have some tips. Anyway, so look out for that. Also on Star Trek: The Next Generation review podcast, which sometimes on Tuesdays, sometimes on Thursdays. Tomorrow night we'll be on for Tuesday. We are talking season 3, episode 15, Yesterday's Enterprise. If you've ever heard of it,
Shoot up.
Yeah. Not good enough, damn it. Not good enough. And we're going to talk all about it. Who am I on with tomorrow? I think Heather and I think Justin and Adam, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly. But
I hope so. I really love that episode.
I think you're on there. So look out for that. We'll be on tomorrow night talking about Yesterday's Enterprise. Maybe one of the most beloved episodes of all of Next Generation. It's got like, I never knew how many people wrote that episode. I was just preparing for that today. It's got like Ronald D. Moore, Ira Stephen Bear, Hans Beimler, and one other
corrected
person.
a big mistake they made, and that's why I think one of them.
Yeah, it's a great episode. So looking forward to talking about that as we head into Christmas. And then we also have Star Trek Radio Theater coming up, don't we?
Yes, on the 30th.
On the 30th. So we got some to talk about that some more. The evening of the 30th. We're doing Galaxy Quest here on the channel. So check out our reenactment of Galaxy Quest next Tuesday night on
The
December
third
30th.
best Star Trek movie after First Contact and The Wrath of Khan.
Not my order, but
Which I only put there because I knew everybody was going to give me shit for not seeing it first.
Well, it's a good movie. I haven't watched it many times, so I'm gonna hopefully get more into it as we get ready for that show next week. So look out for that. And I don't know. I think that's it for tonight, guys. Unless I'm forgetting anything. Well, happy holidays to all who celebrate. And we hope you stay safe out there as we head into the final days. Any final thoughts? If not, we'll sign off for tonight. And see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast in Transmission.
He was a union man.
Good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.